And our top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in under 1 hour from now will be addressing the nation. What exactly is his message to India going to be? Well, going simply by the timing of this address. Remember that just yesterday we saw that big milestone of 1 billion vaccination doses being administered in the country. While there is no clarity on exactly what the Prime Minister will speak on, given simply that this particular message is coming a day after that milestone, it is likely that he is going to be speaking about our vaccination achievements and also on the upcoming festive season. The Prime Minister may focus largely on advising countrymen to continue to exercise caution as COVID is still not over. The fight against COVID is still not over. This will be the Prime Minister's fourth address to the nation this year. And the 10th in the last 19 months. On 7th June, he announced a centralized COVID-19 vaccine policy. On April 20th, he stressed upon the need to fight the second wave of COVID together and with all our might. In January 16th, the Prime Minister had kicked off India's COVID vaccination drive, the world's largest. And from then, we've reached a stage now where we're talking about 1 million vaccine doses having been administered in the country. Let's take this across to Paulami Saha and Rahul Srivastava, who are joining us on this broadcast. Over to our National Affairs editor, Rahul first. Rahul, a lot of speculation on social media, particularly exactly what the Prime Minister is going to be speaking on. Simply looking at the timing of this address, it comes a day after we cross that 1 billion vaccine doses landmark. It definitely looks like it's going to be on a vaccination drive.
Yes, Akshita, the Prime Minister has written articles in newspapers today talking about the 100 crore vaccination mark achieved by the country. Now, what is interesting is that if you look at the last address by the Prime Minister, that was a very troubled time because the second wave of COVID had left a devastating impact on the public, not just in terms of the harm it created, but also in terms of the perception about the union government and the kind of political opposition the government was facing. Every blame, be it for oxygen, be it for ventilators, be it for medical facilities, or a lethargic vaccination drive in which there were assessments it may take even few years for a herd immunity to be achieved by vaccinating 70% odd people. Everything was left at the Prime Minister's doors. And the Prime Minister at that time had taken charge and had said that there will be a step up as far as vaccination is concerned. And today in his article in some newspapers, Prime Minister talks about the fact that how the journey from worries to assurances has been over the last 9 months. He says that there were doubters, the Cassandras who said that it will never be achieved, those who trusted foreign vaccines. But the fact that over the last 9 months, Indian vaccine manufacturers, who are largely domestic in character, created vaccines enough for meeting India's demands. See, what the Prime Minister is trying to say, that for the magnitude of population, if that many vaccines had to be imported and there was no domestic production, it would have been a very uphill task. So the Prime Minister has congratulated those who manufactured, those who carried the vaccine and delivered it. Also, he talks about if 100 crore have been delivered, each vaccine 2 minutes, it takes something close to 41 lakh man years and 11,000 man days and 11,000 man days years to actually deliver that. So it's a message from the Prime Minister, one, about a milestone achieved, and second, definitely about a warning and caution that be cautious, Corona is still around.
That's right. That's what we're expecting that the Prime Minister will touch upon come 10 a.m. in his address. Paulami Saha is also with us on this broadcast. Paulami, the PMO at this point has only put out a one-line message that the Prime Minister will address the nation at 10 a.m. But yesterday, when we, of course, hit that landmark of 1 billion vaccine doses, the Prime Minister in his address did mention briefly, really, touch upon this huge landmark, what a huge achievement it is, and also saluted, of course, our healthcare heroes.
That's right. Yesterday itself, while he was addressing a virtual I beg your pardon, a virtual conference which was happening in relation to a program at AIIMS Jhajjar, he did, of course, speak about the milestone that India had achieved in touching the 100 crore vaccine doses mark. But there is, of course, a long way to go, and that is exactly what we're expecting the Prime Minister to speak about at 10 a.m. this morning when he addresses the nation. And he is going to possibly speak about the fact that one, we've achieved a milestone, but there is still a very long way to go in order to, of course, develop the kind of herd immunity that we need to develop in order to have completely defeated COVID-19, because as Rahul was saying, COVID is still around us and the virus still exists. And in some countries, it is rearing its head back again. China, Russia, these are countries that are sending out warning signals again because there seems to be a resurgence of the virus. And that is a worrisome trend that we're hearing of. And in that case, in a population of 1.3 billion, it's going to be extremely difficult to contain the spread of the virus if indeed it is rearing its head elsewhere. Because international travel is open, we will, of course, have travelers going back and forth because that is the demand of the hour, and we've done that both domestically and internationally as well. But in order to, of course, then face off the virus and its resurgence, we need to, of course, continue to be cautious. So first, of course, get your vaccine doses, your 2 vaccine doses, and then, of course, continue to safeguard yourself in terms of following COVID protocols. And that is most likely what is going to be the Prime Minister's address at 10 a.m. This morning, where he will, of course, tell the nation that we do, have an economy that needs to survive this onslaught, this ongoing onslaught, and hence we need to keep ourselves safe while, of course, going around doing our usual business, celebrating our festivals, but, of course, in a much muted manner because the danger, the risk still lies in our midst.
The message largely, Rahul, seems to be that the Prime Minister will be touching upon the milestone, yes, but celebration with caution seems to be the message. Celebrate the successful vaccination drive so far, celebrate the festive season, but with caution. And it's important that that kind of a message really comes in from the Prime Minister as we, usher in Diwali and several other festivities, because very often, even before the second wave, that's exactly what happened. We saw a lot of people letting their guard down, and then, all the work that happened in controlling the COVID spread for many months really unraveled into chaos on the streets.
Yes, Akshita. See, if you look at the first message the Prime Minister addressed on the 19th of March 2020, when he announced the Janta curfew amid COVID cases, and then all the others, they were largely addresses about COVID or elements related to it or the fight back against it. Now, what the government is the Prime Minister may try to do is send out a reminder. Remember that when there were bodies floating in the Ganga and there were shortages of oxygen and ventilators across the country, a monumental task was created for the government to, one, withstand the political pressure and also provide the machinery and equipment which was required. It was a political battle also because the government, facing elections, had it back to the wall. And there are elections, remember, especially very critical states like Uttar Pradesh. So the Prime Minister will like to take this opportunity to send across not just an administrative prime ministerial message, but also perhaps a political message that 100 crore vaccine target has been achieved. Then comes a second very important element. A lot of criticism of the government in the last year was the kind of crisis which got created because of the COVID pandemic and also the restrictions and the lockdowns, that even as early as January this year, 90% of India was under various degrees of restrictions. In that scenario, the economy was really down on its knees. It has taken tremendous amount of efforts, a lot of stimuluses and a lot of tweaking as far as policy and opening up is concerned to bring back the economy on a level that the demand for power in India has actually gone up 3 times compared to last year. And that is an important element that the Prime Minister can take credit for a 100 crore vaccine drive. But there is also need to be a caution that people have to be cautious because any setback in terms of a return of COVID could well undo lot of benefits, both in terms of vaccination and also the economic revival. And that is why I say a very important component would be a sense of caution from the Prime Minister. And I do not rule out some new program by the Prime Minister on how to go ahead from today when 100 crore vaccine have been achieved, economy is on the path to revival. How to go about in future could well be part of Prime Minister's message.
All right, so we'll stay tuned to exactly what the Prime Minister's address is going to be about. Paulmi and Rahul, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Stay tuned to us here in India Today as we get you the live updates. 10 a.m. is when the Prime Minister speaks.